Thank you for taking on my alternate layout sketches for Croptoberfest 2025, or this sketch pattern in general if you are just using it at another time. So I am going to go over some placement tips for putting on your little squares for layout spread number 1 and cutting the matte frame for your cut guide on your purple paper for your large mat. I did have it double matted. The second mat was 7 inches by 8.5, and the first one was 7.25 by 8 7/8. Now, because this is such a large piece, I wanted a second mat out of the middle, so I'm going to show you how to cut the frame to take that out. So for the first part here, placing our pieces on the page, we're taking our 2 3/4 inch squares, and the tip with that one is if I go to my 4-inch mark and I place my tip of my point here, 1 2 3, try 4 inches, 4-inch mark here, and I go down my 4-inch mark on the other side. As long as these are parallel here and I am touching my 4 inches here and my 4 inches here, it will sit nicely on your page. Okay, on the sketch you might think you can get away with a half a square here rather than a full square, but it's hard to judge the angle if you're not working with a full square to start with. Once you have all the rest of the items on the page, it makes it a bit easier again. So that would be my 4-inch mark, I think, here. When I'm done, my other square will be there, and then your half piece will go along the top quite easily. If that one's rotated properly. Rotate, rotate, bring that one to the proper angle, and you'll see how everything just fits nicely. All set. Easy to build, right? Okay, so that's lesson number 1. For lesson number 2, I am going to take a full sheet of cardstock. This is a great 12-inch trimmer trick if you ever want to take a piece of paper and mat a second piece on the back side, so you're just creating a frame. For example, if I wanted a half-inch frame or a full-inch frame, just like so on a page, a lot of times I might want to use the inside of this one to cut mats. So I'm going to show you how to cut, is black going to be too dark? I hope not. How to cut a full frame. I'm thinking if I can back my camera up here a little bit more. Give me half a second. My stand is being a little temperamental today. All right. So this is the tips and tricks of the trimmer. So if you have your trimmer, it comes with this lovely cartridge that goes down the side. And if I look down the side of my trimmer, there is a ruler here in which you can see some small numbers. And on the cartridge itself, you can see a white line. Now, this cartridge is 2 inches in length. So from the white line to the edge of the cartridge is 1 inch. So knowing this, I can quickly cut a 1-inch frame around a 12 by 12 inch piece of paper by sliding. Let's go in which direction? I might go this way. Which one will work best for you guys to see? All right, so I'm going to slide this up here, and I'm sliding my paper out to the short edge all the way up to the 1-inch line. And then I'm going to start my cartridge at the edge of the paper. So right there. So if I start my cartridge at the edge of the paper and I apply my pressure, the blade is going to cut 1 inch from the edge of the paper. So I'm going to go from here, I'm going to go all the way down, and I'm going to stop at the edge of the paper on that side, and I'm just going to continue around in my 4 directions. So again, slide in to the 1-inch mark. We're going to come down. We're starting at the edge of the paper, and we're stopping at the edge of the paper. And if I do this all the way around, you can see already how I am getting a nice frame out of this. So I'm going to go 1 inch here, starting at the edge of the paper with my blue casing, and stopping at when the blue casing hits the edge of the paper on that side. And we've got 1 more rotation to go into the 1 inch mark here. So we're 1 inch from the top, 1 inch from either side, starting my cut and finishing my cut. My center has popped out, and I have a beautiful 1 inch frame all the way around my page. And that way, if I ever want to cut a mat, I can take this one to 1/2 inch off either side, and it'll make a nice 11.5 by 11.5, and I just mat that on top. So I still have a lot of strength and integrity by using this one. I can go right up to 1/8 of an inch quite easily with this example here. Right? I took my pattern, I went around the 1 inches and just flipped over the middle and popped it back in. Easy lesson, right? Okay. So with this technique, we are now going to look at cutting this sketch here. So on this one here, I am starting with a 7 1/4 by 8 7/8 inch piece of paper, and I have it on my trimmer here, and 1 1/2 and 1 1/4. Okay, so if I take my piece of paper and I slide it along the long length, which is down this way here, to the 1 1/2 inch mark, 1 1/2, and now I want to cut not 1 inch from the edge, but 1 1/4 inches from the edge. So if this is 1 inch from the edge, right, and I want to go 1 1/4 inches from the edge, I'll just look at my blade here. Guess I could start it on this side. So if that's 1 inch from the edge, if I want to go 1 1/4 inches from the edge, I'm going to start at the 1/4 inch mark here. Got it? All right. And then I'm going to make my cut, and I'm going to stop, not at the edge of the paper, but I'm going to stop short. Start here, going to cut across, and I am going to stop when I get to 1/4 inch from the edge here. So I'm taking the same parameter I did before, but rather than a 1 inch space from the edge, because I'm stopping 1/4 inch short, I'm going 1 1/4 inch wider. Easy? So we'll take the same piece of paper, we're going to rotate it around 180 degrees, and we're going to do the same thing. I'm starting at the 1 1/2 at the top here, and I'm going down, and I'm going to start at the 1/4 inch mark here. I'm going down along, and I'm stopping 1/4 inch short on that end here. And now I want to rotate it, so now I'm going to put the small side in on my paper here, and I'm going to go 1 1/4 inches from the end, and I am going to go 1 1/2. So I want to stop 1/2 inch from either side. Excuse me while I handle my barking dog. Yay, my creative memories order came. So in here, this time I'm going in 1 1/4 inches. I'm starting 1/2 inch from the edge. So you can see here, I'm sliding in 1 1/4 inches. So I'll be cutting along this line, and I'm starting 1 1/2 inches from the edge. So I want my cut to start, so I'm going to start 1/2 inch from the edge. 1/2 inch plus the 1 to the cut line, will take me to 1.5, and we're stopping 1.5. So there's my quarter. So I got to stop a 1/2 inch from the line here. So that's 1, 2. I got to stop right there. I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna stop there. And again, I'm going to rotate 180 degrees around. I'm going to slide it in again to the 1.25 inch mark and do this one more time, starting at the 1/2 inch mark here. I can see it on my little trimmer here, 1/2 inch there. My blade starting at 1.5. I'm going over and I'm starting a 1/2 inch. That's a 1/4 inch from here. So my blade is stopping at the 1/2 inch there, and then I will get a nice, what was the piece I need on the inside? A 4.25 by 6.25 inch mat that will sit nicely for one of my photos. And then I have my frame that I am going to need to place the second panel on to give me a cute little 1/8 inch around. So getting to use this paper more than once. All set. Good luck with the rest of your layout sketches. Drop some comments below to let me know how it went, and we'll see you in the next video.